Alrighty, people were saying they were getting shocks from the water heater here, so we're gonna take the cover off this box here and check it out. So this box is wired correctly. The green is grounded to the wire nut into the box. But this water heater is supposedly wired for 220, 240, and they have a 120 volt doorbell transformer hooked up to it, so we're going to disconnect that. And that connection looks good right there, so we'll put our wire nut back on here. And the doorbell does not hook up to 240 like that. So that connection looks good there, so we'll stick our wire nut back on. And make sure it's tight. And we can just put our wires back into our box here. Okay, now we'll take our doorbell transformer off of this box here. We'll stick our cover back on our box. We'll get a knockout plug to put in the hole when we get a chance. See, now we'll look in our box here where they hooked up to the water heater, and we'll see what's going on here. See if there's anything that needs to be done. This is a small water heater. We have a black, which is our live. Our white, which is live because it's 220, 240. And our ground wire is not properly connected to this ground screw here, so take that off. And see how they didn't have a nice loop there on our ground wire? So we can open this loop up a little bit more, strip some more wire off like that, and we'll make our loop the direction our screw turns here. closed around our screw there. See how I close it all the way around the screw? I'll pull down on it so it stays under the screw head all the way around. Make sure it's nice and tight. So we have our black and our white. Now we'll go down here and look at our heating element. All full of dirt. You can just see two terminals down here. Let's make sure our wires are tight on them. Not much to see there, just two wires on the screws. I'll fold our wires back over the way they were. Put our insulation back down here. Stick our cover back on here. Okay. So what they had was a 220. So they had that doorbell transformer hooked up to 220, 240, and that's why they were probably getting shocks. Okay, so we can fold our wires back into our hot water heater here. Make sure there's no stress on anything in here. Stick our cover back on here. I'll get this wire nut to go in so it's not in the way of I could shorten this one up a little bit. I'm going to just look at our connection in here. Wow, that's not a very good connection. See how uneven those wires were? So we can we'll get them closer together here like that. Make this one just even with it, like that. Get them even like that. Take our wire nut, put it on like this. Make sure our insulation goes up into the bottom of the wire nut there. Now I'm not going to squeeze on this wire nut, I'm just going to turn it because I don't have a wire nut tightener. now we make sure our insulation's in the bottom of our wire nut. I'll look at the white one here and see what it looks like. Okay, they're not quite perfectly even, so we'll straighten them out here a little bit. Let's make sure there's no power on these wires here. Get them nice and even. I'll take a little off of this one here so that they're the same length there. Okay, so now they're the same length. See how our copper is even on the bottom and our insulation is even at the top. I got them nice and even there. I'll just take the top of the cap just to get them perfectly even like that. Take our wire nut, we'll grab them, get them both together inside that wire nut. See how our insulation is going up into the bottom of the wire nut? Okay, now I'll just turn them. Make sure it's nice and tight. I'll make sure insulation is down in the bottom of our wire nut here. So now we can get this wire down into our box here. Okay, so we'll fold this back in and get our ground wire back out of our way a bit better there. Put our white one in here. There it is, back out of our way. We'll get our black one to go down. We'll bring it down this way. Push it back into our box. Get them all in there so nothing gets pinched. We don't want any wires pinched anywhere. And we can stick our cover back on here like this. This little hook here goes under this like this. Get under there like that. Put it in here. Put our screw in. You'll just close it up. And we are all set. So there's our water heater under the sink, under the counter. And it's hooked up correctly now. Alrighty, that is how to properly connect an improperly wired water heater. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a 110, 120 volt switch loop or in a 220, 240 volt circuit like we had here. Peace. Thanks for watching.